So Embracer Group has been making plays, and by that I mean they have been making acquisitions. In May, they acquired Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal from Square Enix, those North American-based studios that sold for $300 million, which is a fantastic deal for the stuff they got with it. And now, as of August, they've announced they have acquired some really big properties, and they're making some more big moves. Let's talk about it and break this down, what it means for games and other stuff that they are getting into. Hey, I'm LittleBobby here with 5-9 Gaming Direct, and today we're going to talk about the acquisitions announced by Embracer Group yesterday. However, before we do get started, I would like to ask that if you enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, let us know what you think about all this news. And if you're new here, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all the news, reviews, and other content that we have here on 5-9 Gaming Direct. All right, let's jump into it. First up, Tripwire Interactive. Tripwire has done some pretty cool games, Killing Floor mainly. I believe they did Maneater as well. I personally wasn't a huge fan of Maneater, but I know that a lot of people loved it and a lot of people loved Killing Floor. So they have acquired that studio, and they've also announced that they're going to be acquiring Limited Run Games, which has put out some really great stuff, including very recently Streets of Rage 4. Now, while these are some really solid pickups for Embracer Group, we also have learned that they have taken the reins away from Aspyr. I said Asper in the last video. You can check that out if you want to. It'll be linked up in the top right. They have taken the reins from Aspyr and given the Star Wars KOTOR Remake to a different studio. It's theorized right now that they've given it to Saber Interactive. They actually put out a statement that said one of the group's AAA projects has transitioned to another studio within the group. This was done to ensure the quality bar is where we need it to be for the title, and we are not expecting any material delays for the title based on this transition. This is really exciting because if Saber was already working on the KOTOR remake, right, the Knights of the Old Republic remake that everyone was really looking forward to, then it means that we could possibly see this game still come out maybe next year. I doubt it will be the end of this year. I just don't see them getting everything together, especially having halted the development, even if it was for only a few weeks, having to boot it up and get everyone over, because the original development release date window was the end of 2022. There's also God of War, which a lot of companies are really looking to avoid competing with that. That's one of the big reasons that people think that Hogwarts Legacy was delayed again, is because God of War is such a huge release, and seeing something having to compete with that is going to be a really big ask, especially as a PlayStation exclusive. Yeah, we're going towards the holidays, but if you're one of those families that only has money for one game, are you going to get God of War, the sequel to one of the best received games of all time? Or are you going to get a remake that maybe you played before and you go, you know what, it's a remake, I can put it on the back burner and come back to it after this new exciting God of War sequel is out? But moving on to probably the biggest acquisition that they had in the last few days, they have acquired the rights to the Lord of the Rings IP in its entirety. And that means merchandise, video games, movie rights, television shows, anything and everything. Now, there are some Lord of the Rings properties that are being developed, right? We have the Gollum game, and I believe the Amazon show is coming soon or has recently come out. I'm not quite sure about that, but they will be controlling the rights from here on out. I'm assuming those contracts are still good, at least for however many seasons of the show, and the game is still being greenlit. Obviously, they're going to have to work out with developer Daedalic Entertainment as to what could happen with any sequels, and perhaps they may get the rights to the revenue for that. I don't know exactly how that works, but after that, we're going to see Embracer being able to utilize their studios that they've taken control of for Lord of the Rings IPs. And they've already announced that they do have ideas for several spin-off films from the main series. Maybe we could find a film about Gollum following his adventures, you know, through everything he went through during his time in the caves and holding the ring. We could follow some of the other hobbits around and see what their lives are like. We could follow the elves. We could follow the stories of the dwarves. The world is so rich that any number of films now could be made. Hopefully Peter Jackson does not have to almost kill himself to get that done again. They'll find somebody else and have things smaller scale than, you know, Lord of the Rings has been known to have in their mainline franchises. But Lord of the Rings games are really cool if they're done right. And I'm hoping that we can see Embracer take over and get some of their better studios on the ball with making some really great Lord of the Rings content. One of the games that I worked on back when I worked at EA was Lord of the Rings Conquest. I always thought that was a super fun game. I loved it to death. When testing it, I even bought it afterwards. That's a game I wish we could get a remaster of. Give us that Embracer. But there's so many cool single player story games. There's so many cool multiplayer games with all the armies and stuff. They could make MOBAs. They could make strategy games, right? RTSs. They could do any number of things with these properties, and they have the studios to do it. So I think this is actually a really exciting development, because Embracer has kind of shown that they're trying to really play in the big leagues, right? Play with in the sandbox with the big kids. They're trying to keep up with EA. They're trying to keep up with Sony, with Microsoft, and they're doing a great job recently. So I'm really hoping that we get to see some quality Lord of the Rings Tolkien content. But the fact that they said they already have ideas for films makes me think that there's no shortage of stuff that they're going to be able to start working on in the immediate future. And hopefully within the next few years, we're going to get some great franchises that come out of this acquisition. Fingers crossed, everybody. But if there is a game for Lord of the Rings, what kind of Lord of the Rings game would you like to see? Are you excited about the KOTOR remake already being kicked off and rebooted? And what is your favorite Lord of the Rings game that you played up to this point? Would you want to see a remaster of it? Maybe Embracer can make that happen. Guys, let us know down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you like this video, hit that like button, leave us a comment down below, and subscribe if you're new here. Hit that notification bell. Again, I'm LittleBobby, and we hope to see you soon here at 5-9 Direct.